another episode of Let's Talk Live. My name is Chisom, and we have a beautiful guest in the house. Her name is Ginika Ojinmah. Just so you guys will know, we go way back. We used to sit down on the same seat. Ginika, you remember back
I
in
do
high
that for
school?
SFO, right?
Yes. So we go way back, like how many years? Like it's so nice to have you on the program today.
Thank you so much, Chisom. I'm so happy to be here.
Same here. It's a pleasure. So, in case this is your first time of joining, let's talk with Chisom. We're all about talking about real life experiences, contemporary issues, but we look at it from a Christian perspective. So we have with us Ginika. She'll be sharing some of her stories and, we'll be learning, gleaning together, of course, celebrating our victories together. So, Ginika, just tell us a snippet about who you are, just in a nutshell.
Okay, so Ginika Ojima, like you've introduced me. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. I'm actually a lawyer and a
Yeah.
compliance officer in the
I
fintech
can look for
industry.
trouble. I know that I'm covered. I can look for trouble. I know
You
I'm
know,
covered.
you know that already. Exactly.
Okay. Okay, it's good to have you around. And I wanted to study law at some point, but I think I had to leave law for the people that can study it. It's not an easy something.
I know, right? Okay, I think it was between law and mass comm as at the time we were in
Yeah,
secondary school. Yeah, I
yes.
remember that.
Yes, but before my admissions will come out, or rather before my admission will come out, I had this dream where I saw myself interviewing a celebrity, and for some reason I just knew I was not going to study law, and I was devastated at the time. But then again, I was like, okay, so see myself doing this, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay.
Just way
I
back.
didn't really, tie all this together.
Okay, so I started legal profession and practice and all of that when I was way back in Onitsha, Anambra State. It wasn't as taxing as my life is currently at the moment. Okay, having to practice raising kids, being mom, being wife. It's a very herculean task, and the truth is, nothing prepares you for having to wear too many hats,
Yeah,
juggling all of that stuff all together. So right now it's pretty easy for me because I work remotely. But then the thing about that remote job, you would probably be working around the clock, but you are doing it from the comfort of your home. So yeah,
yeah,
it just made it easy. Like, you have to prepare the kids for school. When they go to school, you know your peak periods when you can be productive is when they are away. So you try
yeah.
to get as much done, priority tasks and all that before they now start coming back, and then you're juggling between checking homework, working, trying to prepare
And
lunch and dinner and all of that stuff. So
yeah,
it has been pretty tasking, but thankfully I have support system around me, and I would always encourage people to get support any way you can, in form of help, in form of family around. Thankfully I have family that is assisting and helping out. So thankfully it's been easy. It's been a bit easy doing working remotely and then having to raise kids and all of that stuff.
yeah. So listening to you, you made everything sound so easy. Like, to be sincere, if I was not a mom, I would have felt like it's a walk in the park. Like, seriously, if I was not a mom, I would have felt like, wow, this girl is just she's killing it. She's killing
Oh,
it. You made
what
it sound so
prepares
easy.
you? No, just there are times like I think the most stressful moments I have are when my kids are sick. For some
Hmm.
reason, you're just up probably at midnight trying to check temperature, or then I have boys, and you know how it can be with toddlers or even grown-up kids. There's always some form of injury that
Hmm.
you're everywhere is like, I think that injury part that's happened to my second son like twice. We are always cleaning blood all over the place. We are driving in the night, going to get stitched. You know,
Ah,
it's
yeah,
not
I
easy.
can
Nothing
relate.
prepares you for it. But
Yeah.
then you have to find a way to juggle it all and then not lose yourself in
Hmm.
all of it.
Yeah.
I'd actually want to speak to not losing yourself, because sometimes you're trying to be a wife, you're trying to be a mother, and sometimes it feels like you are pouring into different cups and you're not getting refilled, right?
Hmm.
So at
That
some
part of not
point,
getting refilled. Yeah. You just feel drained at some point. Like you feel like
exactly.
you're giving everything and who is giving me? Like seriously.
Yes,
Can-
you can relate to that, right? So you are pouring into different cups, you're giving, and then nothing is being poured back into you. You can't pour
Mm,
from an empty cup. So I have this thing where I take myself out.
mm,
Just find a way to bring yourself back. Spend time with yourself. As in, I make it like a compulsory stuff. Any way you can recharge yourself so that you can bring out the best of whom you are. Like I was
mm,
speaking to a friend. Okay, as lawyers, we go for this MBA conference, like yearly annual MBA conference. And I was speaking to her, and she was like, that this MBA conference is a time for her to recharge. She goes there, she meets with friends, she hangs out. It just separates her from doing mom wife duties. And then after 1 week, she's back home. She's a better mom. She's a better wife. Everybody is happy. She's not yelling or screaming. So I think
mm,
finding ways to recharge and then working out also helps. So I recently started working out a lot. And I feel like it helps my mental health. It helps me refuel and refill myself so that I can give out and be the
mm.
best version of a mom and a wife that I can be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this part of refueling and giving out. But when you talked about that injury part, I remembered one time that I had my sister's children come to my house on break. The day they came, go, 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 that very same day, I was in the kitchen feeling like a good auntie, good mom, cooking. And the next thing I heard, mommy, mommy, mommy. And the next thing I could turn, I saw somebody that was bleeding, blood dropping on the floor. I said, what happened? And I was my my nephew, I don't know how he did it, and he hit his hand somewhere, and then he was bleeding. I was blood all over the place, and I froze. I was like, give me clothes, let's tie it. And it was late, so at that point I was like, bring the khaki, let's go. I was just hyperactive, so I could relate to that part. I remember yelling at the pharmacist when I came inside a particular pharmacy. I was like, please treat him. Say we can't treat him. I was like, how? How can you be this heartless? Look at this little boy. I was being so dramatic. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it was crazy actually. So I think
Yeah.
I can relate to that part, having to, manage all this and then, having to pour out and then needing to recharge because I, for one, I can relate to that part where you get exhausted. Sometimes I just feel like I give. And I think that's one thing about our gender. We give. I think it's part of our nature to give. You see a woman, she gets married, and when she gets married, she loses herself. She now it now becomes all about her husband, her children, her husband, her children, and it's just her husband and children, and she doesn't seem to have a life more or less. And then
Mm.
sometimes I wonder, is that what it's supposed to be? What would you say to a woman that is watching and that's giving part? You've given to the point where it's like you don't exist anymore. It's just you're just existing to take care of this person and that person. I remember my late mom, saying something like that. She's like, I don't. She'll say like, I'm not really living for myself. I'm living for you people. Is that what it's supposed to be?
I've actually said, oh, I haven't said that, but I've thought this thing in my head several times. And it comes with the pressure of being a mom, it comes with the pressure of adulthood. So there are things that I do with probably so much pain. I'm putting in so much effort to better myself, to better my career. And I just look back and I just look at my kids and say, all of this stress I'm going through is for my kids, right?
Hmm,
So there's one side, the truth is, you can't entirely stop giving. And that's
hmm.
the truth, right?
Yes.
I was having a conversation with a friend, and she mentioned that part of her fear for getting married is she feels like she will lose herself. Now,
Hmm,
it almost always happens. you have to make a conscious effort not to lose yourself. And it
How?
comes from now, it comes from the exact question will be, how do you do it? How don't you
Look
ensure
yourself.
that you don't lose yourself? The truth is finding a balance. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. It's that balance that you find. So I want to give to family, I want to give to career, I want to give to kids. At some point, it's just like you have a triangular life. You're just doing work, family, work, family, work, family. So making a conscious effort, like hanging out with friends, is a thing that I don't take lightly, right? Provided you have a partner or a spouse that is understanding, that knows that you need to refuel, you would want to find time just to go out, hang out with friends, have conversation with friends. Another important part is conversation with the Holy Spirit. I
Mm,
cannot overemphasize these bits. Now, if you have a relationship with God and a relationship with the Holy Spirit, at some point I had that feeling of, oh, like I'm drained, I'm exhausted. But then you know that you have a father and you know that you have a friend in the Holy Spirit.
yeah.
And by the time you sit down, study the word of God, and he speaks to you, it brings up your spirit, man. It lifts you up again. That is major. That is first, even before any other thing, right? Having that time you spend with God, having that refilling in his presence, studying his word is major. It's key. Then it's important that don't lose your hobbies. There are some things that I used to enjoy doing a lot, like before I got married. I used to have a flair for fashion. I used to want to do this, want to do that. And then by the time you get married, you almost
Yes.
just fling all those things and probably fling friends away. Now, you know, there's this balance where they say by the time you get married, most of the friends you have, you let them go because they are still
Yeah.
single and they can't relate to that new phase of your life, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So sometimes it does happen, right? Because you guys might not be on the same pedestal regarding conversations. They probably want to hang out with their boyfriends and all of that, but you're thinking about being at home, cooking for your
Oh,
husband, taking care of kids. So it's
yes.
almost it's a natural thing for the relationship to kind of, you may not do it consciously, but I'll still want to encourage people to still have those friendships, provided it's godly relationship, godly friendship. Then still find time to go out, still find time to recharge. Keep your hobbies, embrace
Mm,
your hobbies, the things that you used to love doing as a single person. Please keep doing those things. If not, you will find out that you may just lose yourself completely. And another thing is, it is it's important to know that you have to find a balance. Sometimes I feel like I'm giving into work, 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 work. I've been doing work career for a long time, and you're trying to build your career, you're trying to grow, and sometimes it feels like family is suffering too, because
mm,
you've worked so hard, you're trying to prepare for certification courses, and you're exhausted, and somehow things have not been moving in the home smoothly and all. So sometimes you want to take a step back and try to create that balance again, try to put more into family, and then go back to the career thing. So it's basically trying to keep that balance on an equilibrium so that one doesn't suffer unduly.
mm. Yeah, okay, so when we said this conversation, when you first of all explained the whole thing, it sounded like, okay, it was so simple, and now it's sounding so, oh, Holy Spirit. How does one even, because I know that, okay, you see a young lady, she's pretty, she's fine, she's attractive, then she gets married and she's still looking good. And by the time she has one child, you notice that the lady is no longer as, she's not taking care of herself as she used to. And I found out that it's not because the woman stopped liking herself or stopped loving herself, but just because the woman just got overwhelmed with taking care of the kids. And then she's trying to balance out child one, and then child two comes. And then she also has a career. And then, so naturally, it's like some of these hobbies. I remember talking with someone yesterday, and then, they asked us this question, what are the hobbies? And we're like, well, there's no time for hobby when you have, when you have not seen yourself. You get, yeah, but from what you're saying, it's very important that those hobbies, the friends, they are there. Because for me, it's like you already have a lot of work. Work on its own is there. Family is there, spouse is there, kids are there. Then you have your own family, you have your career, and then it's like, Omo, let me do all this. And it's like I don't have time to hang out, I don't have time to do hobbies, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. And that's what is usually, that's what usually comes to our thoughts. It doesn't feel like, okay, I need to do this. But from what you're saying, those are the things that actually helps you to don't as in helps you not to burn out rather.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Creating
yeah, go ahead.
creating a balance for all those things helps you not to burn out, because trust me, by the time you are working circle, like you mentioned, the bits of having your own family, your biological family where you came from, right? That's another aspect of it. You have work, you have career. It can be very overwhelming. And you don't want to get to the point where you burn out completely and you break down. Now, the breakdown we're talking about is emotionally, mentally. Little things will just trigger you. You're probably always yelling around the house. You've become an unhappy person per se,
Hmm.
you know. So you don't wait to get to that point where you'll be burnt out. If you create a routine for you, I took to painting. Let me just bring this thing down. So
Hmm.
this is a rainbow that I had to paint. One day I was so stressed, like super stressed.
It's
At some
pretty.
point, it was thank you. It was after work. I was exhausted. I was drained. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I just got this board, I got my paints, and I just thought of something creative to do. I tried to draw a rainbow, and each of the lines probably represents a member of my family. And then I put that heart shape because at that point I was really overwhelmed. And trust me, it had a therapeutic effect.
Hmm.
And when I look at it, I remember how I felt when I picked up the paintbrush and I started to paint. So you would try to find time to do those things. Music helps. Music helps me a lot. Now, it's honestly may not be, you might not have the time to find those hobbies. Like you mentioned, if you ask my daughter what's mommy's hobby, she will tell me it's pressing phone because how how else do you unwind? You know,
Oh my God.
it's
Oh
pressing.
my.
So
Hmm.
you
Okay.
would you definitely have to find time to create that balance for yourself. If not, you'll get to the point where you burn out. You may not
Hmm.
be able to go to the gym every day. You may not be able to work out every day. Just constantly forming a pattern definitely helps, because if you wait for a time where it gets up to this point and you're lashing out at everybody and you've become an unhappy or a depressed person, then I think it now becomes harder to maintain that balance or to find yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So sorry, they took my light, but I think the gen will be up in a bit. So I think we'll just continue regardless of the fact that I'm in the dark. Nigeria just happened.
Yeah, Nigeria always happens.
Okay, so my sister, it's well it was. Okay, so back to what I was going to say. This whole light thing kind of got the flow of the thoughts in my head. Yeah. So yeah, we're back. Okay. Yeah. So you know, this is me being very real because I, for one, am a victim of this whole getting caught up in doing this and doing that, and then I'm like, I've planned to go to the gym. And then I'm like, I just don't have the time. I want to take myself out. And then I'm like, I just don't have the time. But then again, I remember there was a time that I kept going and going. I was in a particular job, and I remember telling people around me at the time, I need to take a break. I need to take a break. I need to take a break. But I couldn't take a break because of the nature of the work, and there was nobody to leave the kids with at the time. And eventually I kept going until I fell into deep depression, like very deep depression. I had to drop the job. I had to travel. At some point, I called my brother that morning. One morning, I said, "See, if I don't travel out of Lagos, anything wanna Simona collects," because at that point, I had had it up to here. So I think many times we are caught up in that place. And then someone said to me, said, even if you go out, even if you travel, you still come back and meet the problem. So Kukuma just stay. But then again, I found it to be very therapeutic, as you said, when I took that break. You know, I took a break, I traveled I went to do some things in the East, but that whole period of being away from home, being away from the kids, it really helped me. By the time I came back, I felt rejuvenated and I could do more. But beyond that, you just added this side to it, which is you don't actually have to wait to take that maybe break or vacation. You just need to like incorporate it into, like, make it a lifestyle from what you're saying. Like you need to like develop a pattern, something that works for you so that you don't burn out. And I think it applies to everyone, both mothers, particularly women that have children and have homes, husbands, spouses, particularly people that are in this category, because we give and we give and we give, and then we tend to forget as in like, not, will I say forget ourselves? Many times we tend to forget that we actually exist, right? I know of a particular lady that I remember accosting her one day. She was going to church, and I was like, "Is this what you're wearing?" And she was like, "Yes." Who was there? Who cares? And at that point, I was going to like, why would you wear that, even if nobody cares? And then I remembered myself after hubby died. Like I totally lost myself. I just felt nobody's looking at me. Nobody cares. Not that nobody cares, but I know that people care. But I was like, what? Who look help? Who helps? You don't have anybody. So at that point, I just felt joy was there. But then again, thank God for friends, thank God for relatives, thank God for loved ones that kept like, Chisom, yes, we know you feel this way, but you don't have to act it. We know that you've not gotten yourself back, but just keep faking it until you get there. And I noticed that actually dressing nice actually helps you feel good about yourself. When you look at it,
Ah, yes. Let's talk about that bit. There are some very little things that are therapeutic for me.
mm,
So I would dress up, I will buy hair. Listen, say I dey suffer no mean say I no go buy hair wey I wan wear for my head oh. No, I
baby,
will buy nice hair, and when I look at it, I smile and happy. I take pictures. I do take pictures a lot. I don't share them on social media as much as I have them on my phone, and I'm looking at them and just so
mm,
happy. So there are some little things that you do here and there that just keeps you going, some
mm.
breathers that makes you not burn out, right?
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. So I think we have Bigfoot and Yeti. Hi, and Faith Kate. We're saying hi. Thank you for joining. Your smile is so lively. I love it. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So, from what you're saying, I'm really, really picking, because I myself am learning. Because I remember a friend and a sister, like a mother, she talked to me. She said, "So take yourself out. You need to
Hmm.
take yourself out." And I was like, I don't have the funds. I have a lot of expenses. Like, for me, my head is like, I don't mind spending, let me just say 100 naira, for instance. I don't mind spending 100 naira on school fees, but for me to spend 5 naira on myself is like, no, I can't spend it. I keep feeling like I have not earned it. While I'm the one that earned the money, I don't mind spending it on the kids. But to spend a fraction on myself is like, why am I spending it? You
Hmm.
get?
I know. So I can totally relate to it now. Sometimes I look at myself and, there's money that I have worked for. And this is
Hmm.
my money. I've worked so hard for it and it's there. It's really easier to spend it on the children than on myself.
Yeah.
So I started making a conscious effort, right? I'll look at this money and I'll tell myself, this thing, I want it. I want to buy it. If I buy it, it will make me. And their school fees will be sorted out. And it gets sorted eventually. So I'm like, why am I worrying myself so much? All that bits where parents will say they go to the market and they go to shop for um themselves and they end up buying things for the kids. No, it is not Ginika. Ginika will buy for herself. She will buy for the children eventually. Of course, the children, they'll still have all that nice stuff. But I have learned to take care of myself. This
Hmm.
self-love thing that we talk about, it's in all the tiny details. So
Hmm.
I know that there's that bit of you just want to be sure that the kids they have their school fees sorted out. Of course, and just on the truth is there will always be that extra expense that you need to make that will take that money that you need to take yourself out with.
Yeah.
So I try to create a budget, really. And true, self-care budget is there. So I'm started going to spa. I will lie down, you will massage my back.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't put
nice.
out really? Okay, thankfully, my HMO, the HMO I use, they give you an options. You have options to do all that spa treatment, facial treatment. So I'll lie down. No be me suffer pass, I beg.
Ah, my
Because
sister. Like,
end. End. How long do we want to keep going and going without taking a breather and looking at yourself and just trying to be who you used to be? Life
hmm,
can happen and experiences too may make you lose yourself. But I think the ability to be able to pick yourself back up and then pour into yourself, because trust me, if you are waiting to get poured into by someone else, nah, it's probably your relationship with the Holy Spirit and what you can do for your own self. You know, it just takes discipline and making a conscious effort, really.
yeah, this I really love the way this conversation is going because I know a lot of women are caught in this web of doing everything for everybody, and then we lose ourselves. And from one thing we are saying today is you need to be able to recharge so that you don't burn out. And the reason why you don't have to burn out is so that you have to keep giving. If you want to keep giving because you love these people, you have to keep recharging so that you don't burn out. So it's like, as you said, it's a circle. It's a circle that because of the love you have for these people, you take care of yourself so that you always be there to take care of them. So it's like, if I really want to take care of them, I need to take care of me so I can take care of them. I think that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right?
So, funny enough, it doesn't even only apply to women, men too go through it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
From a man's perspective, he wants to be there to provide for his family. He wants to be a supportive father, a protective father, and does all of that. Men too pour in, and
yeah,
but the difference is they will probably always have time to hang out with friends, right? They'll call you, I'm not coming back early. Don't wait up for me. I'm hanging out with the boys.
yeah.
Where you want to stay, hang out with your own, so
Oh,
you
you
have
want
to, you have to
children
plan.
with?
Thank you. Thank you. So you have to make that happen for you. You have to plan ahead. You have to make arrangements for people to stay with the kids, trusted hands to stay with the kids, so that you
Yeah.
can just go out. Now, there's something a conversation I was having with my friend. I intend to take the kids out this holiday. Of course, it's the long holidays coming around, and I want to spend time with them. At the same time, you see those vacations or those holidays you go out with the kids, it can be very stressful on parents because you don't want anything to go wrong. You want them to be fine. You're conscious of whether this one is thirsty, he's hungry, and all of that. So that kind of the hangout is actually good. It's good for the kids. It provides an opportunity to bond. But you see that hangout that happens just yourself, time to recharge. It could be in the place of prayer, it could be in the place of just spend time alone with yourself. For me, it doesn't happen well in the house because, of course, once the kid know that you are home, they come to you. Sometimes it's just wanting to go to church and sit quietly and pray and communicate with God. And then I come back and I'm feeling lighter, I'm feeling better. Sometimes it's just calling up my friend, babes, how far? Can you hang out? Meanwhile, I owe you one hangout, Chisom, in this
Yeah,
Lagos.
yeah, very
Yeah.
important. We need to. We need to.
We have to make it happen at some point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's in all of those tiny stuff that you can do just to refuel, just
Mm.
to keep going. Because if you're not feeling enough, you can't pour into others. You can't make it happen for others around you.
Yeah. So I think whether it's men, whether it's women, anybody, just take care of yourself. Find what works for you, whether it's music, whether it's painting. Because when you talked about brush, I said, oh, I don't know jack about painting, but I know I like to write. I don't really like to read, but I like to write. Yeah, that's ironical, but it's all good. I like to write. So whatever it is, whether it's listening to music, find whatever works for you. Now, I'm going to ask you one question because our time is fast spent. I'm just going to ask you because for someone that is just listening to us and the person is wondering, okay, all these things, what about when I'm going through a situation that I feel overwhelmed and I just feel like I can't help myself. So I'm just going to ask you, what would you say to someone that, um, how will I put it? What would you say to somebody that is going through that maybe a very challenging phase of their life and feel like, okay, at this point, I can't even see myself. Because I know I felt like that at some point, especially when my hobby passed. I felt like I couldn't even see myself. Now, person will see himself. Now, the person they take himself out. It's somebody that saw himself. That when you feel like the water is not even here. The water have reached you here. That is just your hand that is outside the water. Like it has covered your head. So at that point, it's like I don't even have time to take care of. I've not even seen myself. So, what would you say to someone, or have you been through something like that in your life? How did you navigate that part of your life? And what would you say to someone going through that kind of situation? What should the person do?
Okay, yes, definitely. Of course, we've always been at some trying or challenging times in life where it almost feels like you are in a deep hole, and how do you want to get out of that hole? It's
Mm,
what I'd like to say, it's a phase. It will pass.
mm,
And that is how I kept encouraging myself, right? The work starts from inside of you. And sometimes it's hard, like you mentioned. If you can't find yourself, how do you do it? This is where support system comes. This is where talking to friends come. You see, the fact that I am able to talk to somebody about what I'm going through. And most times I will just pray to God, like, help me to find someone that will listen and will give me that encouragement that I need.
for
Sometimes
this
you just take.
particular season.
Yes, for that particular season. And the truth is, God sets up people in your life at each season to speak to
Season.
specific situations. Yes,
Mm,
because to be honest, you might be going through a lot. That point where you can't help yourself, you're trying to bring out things from inside you. Of course, there's a place of prayer. Oh, and where you pray, 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 and you almost feel like, God is not answering me. Find supportive people that you can speak to, find encouragers. And part of the things I want to do, you want to be talking to the right people, because of course you might tell a person your situation, and there are times you talk to people and at the end of the day you
the
feel
story is
worse that you
there.
even spoke to them. Yes. And then another thing, the story is everywhere and you are like, "Oh, I should have just kept quiet." So
Yeah.
you just pray to God and with discernment speak to
Mm,
people that will provide that support and that encouragement. Sometimes it may be issue of finances. Sometimes it might just be words of encouragement that you need. Sometimes you would have people that would just tell you a scripture and it brings up your spirit back. And the truth is, I have friends that I categorize and I know that, okay, this is what I'm going through at this time. This is who I can call. This is who can encourage me. This is somebody that once talk to, the person would listen and the person would understand. So I think speaking to people does a thing. I have been in a situation that I had to talk to a therapist. Yes, we've been through that. So if you are able to find that support, like therapeutic help, getting a professional, it might be speaking to your pastor, to friends, it might be speaking to people that are on the same Christian journey with you. All of that actually helped me that phase. And part of the work I did was that constantly reminding myself that it was a phase. More than half of the times when you're going through a dark period,
Mm.
it draws you. There are two things it can do. It can either draw you closer to God or take you further from Him.
Away from him. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you almost feel like, God, you were here and this thing happened to me. It almost feels like God owes you something and He didn't do His part of the bargain, and this is what you're going through because of it. But the Bible made us to understand that we don't have a high priest that is untouched by the feelings of our infirmities.
That's
God
true.
knows what He's doing. God
Yeah.
knows, and for everything I have gone through, or every season in my life that was unpalatable, so I came out stronger. And I
Yeah.
can tell you that the woman that I am today, everything is tied to the experiences that I've had.
Going through. Yeah.
Yes. It is tied to the experiences that I've had. The emotions that I feel, how I exhibit kindness, how I speak to people is because I have gone through
You've gone out of
situations that can make me
country.
relate to their pain. Yes, I
Exactly.
can relate to their pain, all of that. So God has a purpose for making you go through things. And at that time, when you're going through all of that stuff, you won't know, you won't understand. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and He always makes everything beautiful in His time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is so punchy. We have Jubilee Michael. She says, Kai, these are the words I just needed to hear this evening. God bless you both. Like, thank you so much, Jubilee, for joining. And Ginika, you've just said a lot. I know that you might not know the depth of what you've spoken about today, and I myself, like, I'm because I'm a victim of all this one. Like, I always feel like I don't have time for myself. I have to do this. I have to do that. And, it's like you just have to keep giving and keep giving and keep giving. So I can relate to this thing. So it's this conversation. I really love the way the conversation has been going. Now, there's something you said. You said, when we are going through circumstances or situations when they are unpalatable, they either take us away from God or they bring us closer to God. And I would always say, whichever one happens is a reflection of what is inside us. Because it's actually when you are under pressure that the real thing comes out. It's when we are under pressure that we know whether I was following God for what He gave me or whether I was following God because I really love Him. So at that point, because I remember when Hobby passed, I remember when I used to feel, when Hobby passed, I felt I literally died when he passed. I felt as in I lost my identity and I just lost myself. I felt I was not beautiful. I just felt unwanted, unloved. The way the Bible puts it in Isaiah 54, when he explained the woman that's, the widow. If you read that chapter, the way the Bible explained it, you know that there is a picture. That's the way I felt. And then the Lord said to me, does it mean that your confidence and your self-worth that you've had all this time, you got it from your husband? And it hits me. Like, this man is not there and you're feeling worthless. So it means that your self confidence was gotten from this man. So I was like, oh, okay, 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 okay. God, calm down. Okay. So it was like I had to do this reset. Like my confidence is in you. My self-worth is in you. I find myself in you. So I have to start refining, as in refining. What's the word? I had to start redefining myself. It was a journey. So many times when we go through that part and we are torn between should I do this or should I do that, I just want us to remember those are very defining moments and it will define what is exactly inside us. And I like the way you said, when we go through all this, it's for a reason, and God is aware. You might not see it now. It might not, it might not make sense now, but eventually we'll become a product of all the things that we've gone through. Like you said, the way you show mercy and kindness to people is because you've been in certain places. And when the Bible says that Jesus Christ is not, he said behooved. That's how King James put it. Behooved. Like he had to experience these things firsthand so that when he becomes a high priest, he can now relate and say, oh, when Chisom is crying that she doesn't have food, I've been there. I understand. You get, so he can relate. So that's the same thing, so that we too can relate. When you come across someone, oh, because I was hungry at some point, I know when somebody says I'm hungry, so I can now relate. And I think that is so punchy. Whatever it is we are going through, we just need to know that it's for a reason. And I was talking to someone one day and I said to her, if we understand that, I think these are some of the things I've told myself. If I understand that whatever I'm going through it for someone else. I'm going through it for a generation. I'm going through it for a group of people that, would look at my story the way I can look at Job's story and say, Job went through it and this, Ruth went through this and this. Well, me too, I can do it because Ruth could do it. So I'm like, okay, somebody would look at me and say, if Chisom can do it, then me too, I can do it. So many times when I feel like I'm just overwhelmed, I just tell myself, I'm going through this for someone else. So for the sake of that person, I will be strong. For the sake of, the testimony that is going to come forth from me, I'll be strong, and all that. So I just thought to chip this in as well. I really enjoyed this conversation. Like, I feel like we shouldn't stop.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, Chisom. Okay, speaking, adding to that, right? Going through stuff for someone. Now, I remember being at a very low point in my life,
Mm.
and I was discussing with a friend. I told her everything I was going through at the time, and we encouraged ourselves. Okay, it's even in relation to, let me talk about it in the career way. So I was looking to switch to another unit in my office, and it wasn't happening for me at the time. I had done interviews, done everything, and it just didn't work. So as I was on the call, I was talking to my friend about everything I was going through and all of that. I was having a conversation with her, and then I then received a call that the interview that I did, and they gave the role to someone else. Now, the person they gave the role to resigned after 2 months,
Wow.
and they had to call me, "Are you still interested?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure thing." So, as I was in that same call with my friend, I'm like, "Okay, sorry, let me pick this call. It's from HR." And HR called me. I now called her back, and she was like, "Did this really happen?" It was amazing because as at the time I relocated from Onitsha, they call it up country, right? So you don't want to give that kind of position to someone that just came from country, and people that have been in Lagos in head
Yeah.
office are vying for that same position. So to her, it felt like, wow, if this thing could happen for you, then
Mm.
she had hope, you know.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
when it happened, she was so excited, and they moved me from the unit I was to the position that I had been vying for. So that my friend would go to where I was working. I was like, so if this particular thing happened for Ginika, then it can happen for all of us. And it became a thing at the time. They were like, wow. So the experience wasn't just for me,
You.
it was for people that could learn from it. Like when beautiful things are happening for me, There are people that know what I have been through in the past and everything that has happened, that I can come and I say, okay, this is where I am right now. This is what God is doing. God is in the neighborhood. He can make it happen. And it's just a form of encouragement for
Yeah.
someone that is going through a phase in life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Thank you so much, Ginika, for sharing. I think at this point we're just going to call it a wrap, and I'm just going to like try to recap some of the things we talked about. We talked about self care. We talked about being able to take care of yourself so that we can always be able to give back, especially women. Yes, we also talked about men. We said women because we are women on this call. At least both of us are women, so we need to always take care of ourselves. Find what works. Find what works for you, whether it's singing, painting, going to the gym, hanging out with friends. Spend that 5 naira on yourself. Spend it. It well, something will not spoil. The school fees will still be paid because expenses will not finish. You pay today, you pay tomorrow. You get so do that little thing for yourself. Don't wait until the time when you totally burn out and then you now get to um start, how do I put it? It's like a longer process to get yourself back. If you make it a constant thing, like you make it like a routine, that's where you don't get to the point where you burn out. And I think these are the key takeaways from today's conversation. Thank you so much, Kenika, for joining us today. I think we're going to call it a wrap. I'm just going to give you 5 seconds to say like a pattern word.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me. I really appreciate this. Everyone out there going through life, just know that this is not the end of the road. Definitely, God has beautiful plans. Plans for us are of good and not of evil. So there are beautiful things happening down the line. Please find time to breathe. Find
Hmm.
time to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally. Find time with God as well. So in all of those things, God is there and He
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah. Find time to breathe, find time to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and God is there and He cares. Thank you so much for those patterns. They were very punchy. Find time to breathe, find time to take care of yourself, and remember that God is always there. Thank you again, Ginika. It has been a pleasure having you on the program. Like, thank you so much. And thank you for, behind the scene prayer and gingering you gave me. It meant a lot.
You're
Thank you so much.
welcome. You're welcome. So
Thank you. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
And in the spirit of self care, we should hang out very
Yeah,
soon. Yeah.
we're definitely going to do that. Thank you. Okay, so
Yeah.
everyone join us. Thank you so much for joining. We have some persons join us live today. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the comments. They've been so encouraging. We hope that this conversation has blessed you. Please don't forget to drop your comments, your questions, and just let us know your thoughts concerning today's conversation. What would you do for yourself? For Ginika, it was painting. For me, sometimes it's writing. What would you do? Probably someone else can pick that, and try it for themselves and it will work for them. So just let us know your thoughts on the comment section and see you next week. We'll be bringing another. Funny enough, I have another lawyer coming next week. Yeah, I think it's just
Ah,
a lawyer season. Yes. I'll
you
be
have a thing for liars. This one.
like, I shall not become the lawyer. I was like, seriously. Yeah, we have Sumim coming next week. She's also a lawyer, pretty intelligent, God fearing as well, and she'll be sharing with us. So see you next week, 8 p.m. on Let's Talk Live. God bless you. Take care. Take care, Ginika. Thank you again for coming. Thank you. Bye. Okay.